Welcome to another episode of Black Nail Knives. I'm Royce, and today we will be reviewing the 3-inch XM-18 Wharncliffe. Now, this knife is one of my favorite knives simply because of the blade. I love Wharncliffe blades. I'm a Warney nut, and of course, Hinderers may just be my favorite American brand. And I'll tell you why. This is going to be a quick review. Basically, this is a beautiful knife. I love it. I purchased this used. They start out at $425 for this model, which is a XM-18 3-inch. It's 3.3 ounces. Okay, it's a flipper knife, obviously. CPM 20 CV steel. You can see that. All right. It's 7.125 inches long. And it's 4.125 inches closed. There's a 3-inch blade with a choil, so you can really grip up on that knife right there. And this jimping is legendary to Hinderer knives. Other knives have the same thing, you know, a few of them have hard use knives that have this type of jimping, but this jimping on this knife is perfect. Now, for a little size comparison, we put it up next to the ZT 0562 tie. Okay, obviously a much bigger knife, longer knife. The Lion Steel Rock, okay, which comes in at 3.625 inches. Nice. And my workhorse, the Benchmade Griptilian at 3.5 inches. This is a beast of a knife right here. That's why it's my workhorse. And my newest and latest model, the Medford Praetorian Slim. Flipper, of course. I love flippers, so there you go. As you see, now this knife going up against this is about 3.25 inches, so it's not that much larger when you look at the blade length, but it's much wider. And like I said, this is my favorite blade shape. And Hinderer is one of those knife companies that's been around for a while. They've been doing it right for a long time. And with this knife, this is actually the Generation 6, so it has a tri-way pivot, which you can change. And I think it's from bearings to Teflon, nylon Teflon washers and phosphorus bronze washers. And honestly, I haven't tried the others. I have them in the box still. But these, I'm telling you, these ball bearing pivot, oh my God, it's so smooth. It's one of the smoothest knives I've ever had handled. And that's why this is about my 10th, I would say at least my 10th Hinderer. All the other ones I played with, I got rid of because I'm looking for that Wharncliffe blade as this one is. I haven't found it yet, but I'm sure I will. And then 3.5 inch. And then once I get, you know, full titanium scales on it, I'll probably retire this and make this my, you know, 5th pocket knife. You know, just a little backup. I actually carry this knife every single day. 365 days of the year, this knife is in my pocket. Whether I'm at work, I don't use it at work, obviously. I use the Benchmade. Or, you know, I'm just out for leisure. It's light. It's like 3.3 ounces, I think it is. So it's really light, and with stone wash finish, one thing I've learned, I've had a few different finishes. I've had the battle bronze, I've had the battle blue, I've had the blue, and I've had the black, the DLC. This particular finish, the stone wash, you will never ever see scratches. Okay, you'd have to look light, and it'd have to be a deep scratch. Now this knife came just like it is. Like I said, used. It was around almost half. I think it was a little over $200. And obviously I bought it off eBay from a recommended seller, so I had to pay tax on eBay. There's certain stores I buy from that I don't pay any tax, and those are my favorite stores. I go to them constantly, which is DLC Trading is one of my favorite. I think I bought maybe 7 of my other 9 Hinderers from them. So I love going to them. They're fair shipping, there's no hassle, and I always deal with Jordan over there. He's great on returns and everything like that. So this blade right here is CPM 20 CV, which is a very hard steel. You know, I haven't sharpened this knife since I had it. It's very sharp. I wouldn't say it's razor sharp. There are a few knives that I have that are sharper than this, but I always check the the blade's sharpness on my calluses. I try to see if I can shave it off, then it's a sharp blade. Very lightly. So this blade needs to be sharpened. So also this blade is, I think it's 0.19. I would think that's the 0.190 inch thick, which is pretty thick for a 3-inch blade. And I'm one for the heavy duty knives. That's why I love Hinderers, number one. Number two would be Medfords. I like smaller knives, thicker, robust knives, but I also like 3.5 inch knives, or to 4 inch, not too large, but as you can see, this Hinderer is huge. So I rarely carry this. You know, once in a while I'll carry it to work in my other pocket. Like I said, I don't use it, but it's just good to have for the type of work I do. But this blade, like I said, can go anywhere. It's not gonna scare anyone when you pull it out. Most people, when they see that action, they're like, oh, that's a nice knife. And that blade is quite unique. So they like the blade, and I love the blade. This is the only blade I'll get from Hinderer, this or a Sponto, because of the weight of the Sponto gives you that, you know, that heft when you're deploying the blade. And this knife has, you know, drop sheddiness is perfect. It's the fidget factor, which I love. You know, I'm always in for playing with this knife. I'll literally be out on the road, get into bed, and at night before I go to bed, I'm sitting here watching television and just playing with the knife, you know, all night, just watching television. So this is my go-to when I need to fidget a knife and I need to play with a knife, or I need to have something in my hand. You know, when you get a little tired or nervous or too much damn coffee in the morning. So I just wanted to say, and this also is a G10 scale on top of the titanium liner. And then you have a full titanium with the oval travel stop. These all came like this with blue anodization and fire treated anodization. I would say flame anodized. And that's another reason I love this knife. So I may just put a full blue titanium scale if I can ever get my hands on one. Every time I look for them, they're sold out. Everywhere. And recently on DLT, they had a blue one, but it was for 3.5 inch. So I was a little pissed. I was like, man, so close yet so far. Close, but no cigar. So this knife is centered perfectly. If you can see that, I'm not really sure if you can, but if you check out this knife, it's always perfectly centered. And, you know, you can kind of adjust it with the pivot yourself without even taking the whole knife apart, you know, if it ever comes off center. And just that sound alone is so satisfying. I did a battle of the blades. This knife came in second to only the ZT, you know, which is another Hinderer, the 0562 tie, simply because of the smoothness. But it doesn't have any drop sheddiness like this. It never drops shed like this. That's why Hinderers are my favorite brand overall. And like I said, it would have probably won first place if it was a 3.5 inch full titanium scales with a Wharncliffe blade. That would be my number one grail knife, I would say. That or the half-track Warney with the blade that is actually, I think it's like a little less than 180 degrees, the way this blade comes out. So it's a little bit less. And the way it sits up is perfect for, you know, cutting, because this knife is great for cutting, but at some point, you're not going to be able to get the full blade down when you're slicing. But other than that, this knife rocks through paper, through cardboard, anything you put up against it. Once in a while, I'll cut some fruit. I'll jab at some frozen drinks that I like to drink. That's my favorite. So I'll jab it with this knife and just to loosen it up. And it's perfect. It works perfect, stays in my hand. You never losing grip with this type of texturing. And there goes the heater coming on. So that's my cue. But other than that, this knife is perfect. So if you're out there looking for one of your first knives, try a Hinderer, man. They're great, especially with the tri-way pivot. I haven't had one that hasn't had the tri-way pivot yet, so I really don't know. But I'm looking at a used MP1 with full titanium scales and a sheep foot blade, which comes, you know, second to the Wharncliffe for me, but I'm really interested in it, and I may go with it. I'm just thinking. I love those heavier full titanium knives. That's my thing. But if I find a titanium scale for this, or if you guys know anything, let me know. Send me an email. Check me out on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Black Nail Knives. On IG, I think it's black_nail_knives. So send me a little message. Let me know if you know anything. And tell me if you like my review. This knife gets like a 99 out of 100, 9 out of 10, either way you cut it. All I need is that titanium scale. It'll be perfect. So, I'm Royce. This is Black Nail Knives. I'm signing out, and you gots to be more careful.